Hey, everybody. Welcome to our call today. I am super excited to be teaming up with Sarah at Bushido Billing and talking to you guys about some of the challenges of practice management. We both serve the chiropractic profession. We love working with chiropractic practices, and we're excited to be here with you today talking about these things. We want to provide you some value, just some key nuggets from both areas of expertise. You might be wondering, well, okay, Bushido Billing, that makes sense. What is the Troy method? What do they do? We're going to talk about all of these things, and we're just excited to get started. So first off, I'm just going to do a quick intro of me, who I am, why you would even want to sit here and listen to me talk about the challenges of practice management. And then we'll have Sarah kind of do the same. I'm Jenn Troy. I'm the owner of the Troy Method. We are a team that helps chiropractic practices convert their leads into new patient appointments. So leads from anywhere, whether it's social media, whether it's Google ads, whether it's mailers, TV, radio ads, doesn't matter. If leads are coming into your channels, or if you have a list of 2,000 people you need called that haven't been called in a while to reactivate, we're your team. We take that hat off of the front desk. Why do I know how to do this? Why does that matter? I ran a practice, a very busy, high volume chiropractic and integrated office, and fell in love with the profession and serving chiropractors. And when I had to move away from the practice, I started the Troy Method. 4 years later, 35,000 new patient appointments booked. Here we are. So we've learned a few things about scheduling new patient appointments. And I'm super excited to partner with Bushido Billing. You guys are wondering, like, well, how does this tie into each other? Well, they do. So Sarah, tell them a little bit about you, and let's get this party started.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. We're super excited to be working with you guys as well, because it's a very needed service and a hot topic for a lot of our clients. So I'm Sarah Hansen. I'm our COO here at Bushido. And really, we developed Bushido as clinic owners because we saw a need for more accuracy and more communication when it came to the billing environment. I'm married to a chiropractor. Our CEO is a chiropractor, and our CFO is also married to one and a clinic owner. So really everything we bring into Bushido that we do, we have that clinic owner mindset of we have high expectations for how we want things done. And we're making sure we can bring those expectations to your clinic as well. So loving these two topics together and super excited to be doing this today.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I mean, I think, just having the clinic owner mindset, I say that all the time, like running a practice for so many years, I wore all the hats. The only hat I couldn't wear was the adjusting itself, from, CA to the front office management to x-ray technician and everything in between. So I love that you mentioned that. That's super important. So I'm excited. Listen, on this call, we're not trying to sell you anything. I think Sarah and I have come together to realize that we get a lot of questions from our current clinics and struggles in various areas. We hear struggles about the billing side of things. We're not experts in the billing side of things, so we lean on sending the questions and the potentials to Bushido because they know what they're doing in that regard. And vice versa, we're experts in converting new patient appointments, and we've been doing it a long time. And Sarah has seen that her clients have questions. So it's not about us sitting here selling you things and selling you our services, although, hey, that'd be great too. It's more about providing you some value. Sure, we're going to tell you all about our services and how they can help you. But ultimately, we just have the serving heart and want to get you guys some of the answers to the questions that you guys have had after all of our years of doing this. So with that, Sarah, if you want to switch it over, we'll get going. So talking about some of the challenges that we are consistently hearing in the practice, there's kind of like this scale of things that happen from our side of things with new patient side of things, front office administrative side of things, and then that cascades into the back end and the billing side of things. It's really interesting at how much they are connected. So what I've personally seen over the years, and I know Sarah and I have had some conversations about this, high administrative load for our internal staff members, front office staff, CAs, whatever you call them in your practice. They're wearing a lot of hats. It's pretty rare now, after working with hundreds of offices, it's pretty rare to see anybody very specifically segmented in your front office is only checking in new patients and only focused on who's in front of them, and not answering the phones and not verifying insurance and not doing the billing and not doing exams. So that, I mean, like when you think about the load of the front office staff, I mean, take a look internally. You have to have some really awesome rock star team members to be able to sustain that for your practice. So, notoriously, we've seen that high administrative load. It's like the jack of all trades, master of none, where they can't be excellent at everything. It's literally not possible. And what I've seen over the years, the staff is taxed. The staff is taxed heavy, and then their ability to be efficient and effective at what they're doing goes down. The other side of this coin, right, is when you have the staff wearing multiple hats. Some of these things are a specialty skill set. I know Sarah and I are a little bit biased in this regard, but like on our side of things with new patient scheduling, converting leads, there's a method to the madness of how to effectively get leads into the system and how to convert them once we have them on a call. And it doesn't take once or twice to get them on a call. There's sales skill set involved in the things that we do. Is your front office trained on a sales skill set side of things? Do they have the capacity? Do they want to do it? Do they like doing it? How do they sound with your new patients when they're calling in? If you're cringing even just a little bit, think about, we've got to start thinking about tweaking how we help in that way. On the flip side, billing is a specialty skill set. I was just talking to Sarah about this a little bit ago. Our doc wouldn't let any of our team members, we trained on everything else, wore every single hat possible other than adjusting patients, but he would not let us touch the billing and the coding side of things. We always hired specialty for that. We always outsource that. There's something to be said about trying to have your front office staff that isn't specifically trained and trained well on how to do this, that you're at risk. And I think that's the thing with billing. There's compliance standards there. So all of this, high administrative load, having that specialty skill set, like if they're feeling burdened and overwhelmed, which I've seen in the practices probably in the last couple of years now more than ever, you're getting those staff turnovers. And we now, Sarah and I collectively, are seeing the training gaps with the team members that we have in place in the practices that we're serving. And when that happens, nothing's clicking on all cylinders like it should. So,
of course. And you mentioned the high administrative load. I can't tell you the number of times people ask, like, hey, what should our front desk staff say whenever they're on the calls? Like, we're getting these leads in. There's always the arrays of maybe somebody who's kind of a little more burnt out or even newer to the office of not giving enough information. But then you also have those staff members who have been there for super long, and maybe they're passionate about, maybe it is billing or certain aspects of that area. They're giving too much information. So definitely when it comes to that happy medium of what do you say, how do you convert them the best, I send everybody over to you, because that's not something that we specialize in.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, the specialty skill set, everybody has that. And then when it comes to like staffing, insurance is not an easy game. You have not been in it or taught by somebody. It's not like, let me learn and pick it up like that. So, we offer a little bit of like coaching similar to you, but we very much stay on our side when it comes to billing. Like, I can't tell you what to say and how to say to the patient to convert them. But once they're in the office, yeah, I can tell you how to explain their coverage to them, whether you're doing insurance verification, even anything that comes to your staff of like accurately collecting what you legally can over the counter, not pre-collecting things that you can't, how to collect from them after, things like that. That specialty skill set is very wide when it comes to talking about that insurance and even collecting from patients. You mentioned when we first started, like, we want providers to stay in their lane and see patients. That's what you guys love doing, and that's what you should be doing. You shouldn't be at your front desk collecting from patients and wearing all the hats that you need to if you have staff that's doing that. But there's that special skill that you need to make sure that they're doing it in the best manner and professionally. As far as kind of, touching on compliance and audits, I love that you gave that example of the front desk staff is entering codes. A lot of providers today are still using travel cards, and it's good to have that administrative help, but a lot of that can put you at issues for compliance. So one thing that we really enjoy offering to all of our clients is we do audits. It's like an internal audit of, let me see what your process is. And again, all of this relating to the insurance, to the billing side, because you don't know what you don't know. We do these audits. I want to understand your processes so that we can, provide those suggestions. And with that, we do that for a lot of clients who are full billing, who aren't, who just need guidance in any way that they can. So definitely a lot of challenges when it comes into play for both of these areas.
100%. And I think it ties back to when they're overburdened with too many hats, they make mistakes and there's issues and they don't know what they don't know about things. And you just mentioned something pretty important. Like, a lot of providers, even that I see now, like, toe the line, and it's not of understanding what you can collect, what you can't collect. Like, like, mind blown for me there. When you and I talked originally, like, there's some things that docs probably don't even realize that they're not supposed to be doing, that they just don't know any better. And that puts them at risk. And I think that that's, like, again, the billing for our team was no fly zone. Like, we were going to always have to have, because there's too much risk involved with licenses, with fines and all the things that, we just didn't want to mess with. So, but it all ties back to the staff and having too much going on. So, I think it's important to try to alleviate some of those things, but how, right? I think that's, I'd really like to know too, and I think we're going to get into this next a little bit, like, how does, because I know it's important for the docs and the staff who might be listening to this, like, who are, like, skeptical about outsourcing billing. And then we can talk about our stuff too, but, like, what could they do differently now, or what could they internally audit now that you could give them some tidbits of advice on? But also then, like, how though does Bushido work? Let's maybe start with, how do you work with your clients? What's your scope of work with them? Because billing is this broad thing, insurance is this broad thing. And then, we can kind of talk about ours too and how it correlates. But I'd love for you to give, like, okay, how do you guys do it? But then, even if they don't work with you yet, what nuggets could they take away to, look at and try to implement now?
I love that. And I love that you say, as far as, like, outsourcing billing, of course, being a billing company, we do full billing spectrum for a lot of clients. One thing a little more unique about us, I've talked to a lot of other billing companies. Some of us on our team have worked with other billing companies. Yeah. I have yet to find anybody who offers the consulting that we do, in a sense of, if somebody has an in-house number, maybe you have figured out for your administration where their specialty skill set is, and you have a rock star biller who just needs a little help or a little training or whatever it might be. We do consulting. We help them, because as a clinic owner, I know there's a time and a place for it. Of course, there's a time and the place to get it off the plate as well. And for us, a lot of everything that we do really comes down to, like, I want to help providers run their practice with insurance billing and not let the insurance billing run them into the ground. So with our billing service, like I mentioned, we offer the full billing, where it's like, we'll send claims, apply them, we run AR reports. But for a provider, like, any little tidbits, if you have a biller in-house, maybe you're using another billing company, some things that you could look into and maybe potentially kind of audit yourself. I actually just caught this last week. We have a provider billing $40 for a Blue Cross re-exam, and Blue Cross allows $65. So I'm like, why are you billing so low for this? And, they have no problem charging $65 to their cash patients. Of course, avoiding dual fee schedules. That's a whole nother rabbit hole, but things like that. I'm like, why wouldn't you increase this? You do re-exams multiple times a week. You are literally missing out on free money on the table. So evaluating those fee schedules, could you be collecting more for the same services that you're doing? A lot of that is what we call like our audits. I usually review kind of how the account is set up, what's going out. Some super easy areas that you can review is your insurance AR report. It is unrealistic to expect nothing to be on there. Typically, insurance pays after about 45, 60 days, of course, depending on where you are. And then after that 60-day mark, if your biller is running that insurance AR report and working through all the issues on there, essentially it's a report of any claims that haven't paid yet. Virtually by 90 days, that should be very minimal, and by 120, non-existent. So if you are running your reports and seeing high numbers in that area, that's definitely something you're going to want to look at, or, talk to whoever's there. And even kind of going back to that front desk staff part where it's the verifications, the collections over the counter. A lot of your insurance billing stems from the insurance verification that you do in the beginning. So if you're doing those online and portals, making sure you're getting the right information, collecting co-pays up front. And if the portals don't offer accurate information, which tidbit, we are finding more and more with chiropractic, if you do any therapy service, such as, therapeutic exercise, even things like ultrasound, e-stim, more and more states are classifying that as physical therapy, not chiropractic, and benefits may be very different. Like those may apply to deductible, and chiropractic's a copay. So the insurance game is getting more convoluted as they continue to evolve. So sometimes doing a phone call verification, knowing what questions to ask, those are forms that we provide for free. I'll even give you a little download link here at the end. That I just want to make sure that the staff is starting right from square one, because it's going to minimize issues later on. And it's just going to increase your reimbursement rates and the speed of them, if that, towards the end. So I did mention a little, we do the consulting and training, whether there's a staff member on hand for billing, or maybe it's just your front desk wants to better understand how to read ledgers or things like that. One struggle we always, like I said, we run into that line of, I can tell you all the insurance lingo, I'll train you on that, how to do a great verification. But when it comes to like, how do they explain that to the patient? Yeah. What do they say to the patient? And just everything behind that. And that's very much where it grays the line. And I send them over to you. So any tidbits or information that you have for our listeners, like I'd love to share that with them too.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, that's a lot of good stuff. I loved that we outsourced the billing, because it's all that this is the kind of stuff that I'm like, I didn't have to learn it, and I was grateful for it because I'm not the expert at it. And it when you talk to Sarah, like she gets lit up about all the things that she can do from the billing perspective. And we were kind of talking about that earlier. Like, that's not me. That's, we all have our zone of geniuses. I get lit up getting new patients to walk into chiropractic offices, because I know they're going to get better healthcare when they walk in those doors. So, in any case, kind of leaning into, how we help from the administrative load perspective. I'll tell you what we do first. And then I'll kind of give those golden nuggets of like, okay, if nothing else, have your staff like do this, this, and this kind of thing. Like I mentioned a little bit at the front end, we take leads from any of the marketing channels that might be coming in, whether it's phone calls coming in, whether it's leads coming in from social media, and we convert them to new patients. We're very chiropractic focused. Most of my team of 14 people now have worked in chiropractic clinics. I have started cherry picking through my hiring process. Mm-hmm. I want them to have the chiropractic the desire and to serve patients the way I want them to be serving patients, and getting them to the kind of healthcare that I want them to get to, which is chiropractic. Not big on drugs. I'm not big on them. They're like time and a place for drugs and surgery. And I think it's about this much of the time. as opposed to this much of the time that we consistently see in traditional medicine. So, soapbox. I could keep going there. My team is very passionate about our types of practices. And that's point number one. So we take all the leads and we book new patient appointments. We'll get on the phones, we'll talk to them, we'll ask them questions, we'll handle objections. And our sole purpose is to get them a booked appointment. We are selling them an appointment, whether it's a free consultation or whether it's a paid appointment. That's our skill set. We're selling them to come to the practice because they might have just clicked a Facebook ad and barely remembered that they did it. But we're going to nurture that lead and talk to that lead about why they did it and get them scheduled. Back to the team, being extremely passionate, that's how we're able to handle objections correctly. We handle insurance objections on the front end, but we're not experts in insurance. There's a fine line, and Sarah alluded to this earlier, like what does your front desk say and give if they've been there 6 months and don't really know what to say? And what do they give and say when they've been there 30 years? There's a balance of what's right and what's wrong and what's too much and what's not, but it also is so dependent upon the person that's on the phone. It depends. It depends on the person. It depends on their skill set. So tidbit number one, they have to care about getting people to your practice. You have to have people who want to have the passion and the desire, not just pounding phone calls and not just trying to talk to people and not convert them. Our team is on a fierce mission to make every patient on the planet or every person on the planet know about chiropractic and that everybody should have a primary care chiropractor. We talk to my team about that. That's their mission. If you have somebody on the phones that's just punching in and punching out and not really like feeling it, they're probably not the right fit. I know that sounds silly, but that's fact. You've got to find the person that's like, heck freaking yeah, nervous system, need the powers to stay on. It's always on. It just needs to stay on. And we need them to get to this office because they're going to be on less drugs and have less likelihood of surgeries, blah, 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 blah. Soapbox, right? That's tidbit number one. You've got to have somebody fired up to do this work. Tidbit number two, if you're spending a lot of dollars on your marketing efforts, agency fees, they deserve to be paid, right? But agency fees, ad spend fees, you better be doing something with those leads when they come in. So front desk or CAs or whomever, I mean, we call them front desk CAs too, but whomever is focused on that in your practice now cannot be wearing a ton of hats. Because if they are, lead comes in right now, lead should be called within 5 minutes. Because if they're not, 80% less likely to book an appointment. You just lit a match to that lead that came in if you're not getting to them right away. So you can't do it at shift break, right? Like our team, like when I started doing this remotely after I had to move away from the practice, that's why the only reason I don't still work at it. I saw like the gap in, oh my gosh, our staff was amazing, highly trained. We were real meticulous about phone skill training because that's where it starts for your office. It's like day zero, like it's the most important conversation potentially. It can either make or break them coming in. We were meticulous about it. But when leads were coming in, if we were in shift, our rule was that we don't answer phones. I know people are like, what? It worked because we were focused on the people in front of us, but that meant the leads were waiting hours to be contacted. So again, I could get on a soapbox. I'm, pretty intense about this, but that's the gold nugget number two. You've got to follow up with your leads right away and consistently and often. Tidbit number three, and then I'll stop. You have to have your team calling the leads more than once or twice or texting more than once or twice. You can't stop. You can't have somebody with the mindset that, well, I've already called them a couple times and left a message or two and text a message or two. If they're not responding to me, then they must not be interested. I'm done with it. Nope. Can't have the same mindset. I am going to call and bug those people as much as possible. And I don't mean bug. I have the desire to help them get well. That's what that's the drive I have. Yeah, it's excessive, but it's intended to be excessive when we're calling patients because we're on a mission to get every patient to a primary care chiropractor. Your person that's on the phone has to feel that way. My team feels that way. So there you go. Soapbox, like that's where I'm like, where am I? What am I talking about right now? So that's what we do. We get people to walk in the doors. We get people to engage in a booked appointment, schedule that booked appointment, and we ultimately care about if they're showing up. But we also, have a course that if you're not ready to outsource, and that's scary because I talk to a lot of docs that are like just not ready yet to outsource to us. I created it's a mini course. Okay. We do not expect front office staff. They're already doing too much. We don't expect them to watch a 12-week course on how to convert leads. I do have a course that's out there also. So, and it teaches them the mindset, the philosophy, and how we do what we do.
Jenn, I absolutely love that you brought your passion into that. Like, one thing I think both of us can very highly relate to is, aside from the experience with chiropractic, like it is ingrained in us and part of that passion and the persistence. Like, it's our mission to be very diligent in what we're specializing in, because we know all of our chiropractors, like, this is not what they specialize in, but how impactful it can be for their business and how important it is. So I love that your team stands for that as well.
Yes, 100%.
So with that, we're going to go ahead. We have a couple offers for you guys here. If you have further questions, maybe you want some help with that audit, or you're looking for just a little assistance of what can I better improve in my practice. I included my contact information here. The best way to contact us for any kind of questions that you have is book a free 30-minute discovery call. If there's things I can assist with on that call, I'm an open book. Like, ask me anything. I'd love to share everything I got. That is located on our website. And also, I'm going to include we have a link that is a free verification download. So if your staff is trying to learn how to do a better verification, they can download that form, do a phone call, online verification, whatever it is, because again, it all starts with that front staff. With that, if you guys are interested in signing on for any services or need any assistance, we do have a $250 off promotion just for being here with us today. So that'll also be part of the email or a link with this video as well that you guys can grab.
Awesome. I love the freebie download, and that, like, oh man, I need a copy of that. We're going to share that with my docs too and my clinics too. That insurance verification is tricky. So over here on the right side, that's my contact information. Best way, I do a strategy session, also free strategy call. Like, let's talk about what you've got going on. This is the part where we're selling you something, right? Gotta have some kind of pitch at the end here. It's free strategy session. I like to learn more about your practice and see how we can help. And, we do some of the consulting as well, like Sarah does without maybe necessarily having the billing services. I also have a little download. It's how to track KPIs. We didn't talk much about that. But tracking your KPIs is super important, especially for new patients and who's coming in and how are you converting them and all the things. So I have a free guide kind of talking to you about why you should do that, how you should do that, all the things. But right now, because we're on this call, I'm offering the course at a huge discount, just $597, and it's yours forever. That's going to be talking about the mindset your team needs to be in. And it's geared towards the people who are going to be on the calls. Mindset, the skill set they need, how leads are different than referrals, handling objections, the script itself, packed full of goods. But I have my QR code here. There's a lot of other links there. You can schedule your strategy call through their website, the free KPI, the course discount. But I'd love to help. I think we need to, again, our mission is get as many patients to chiropractic care. So if I can help you in any way, it doesn't matter if we work together or not. We're on a big mission to serve the profession. So
1000% agree. And I love the sale. My husband always jokes that like I can always find that sale, especially like when it comes to Christmas stuff, but always on the hunt for sales. I love that you guys offer that. That's very needed for those front desk staff, and I'm sure super appreciated by those providers.
Yes, yes, absolutely. It was awesome talking with you today, Sarah. I know we're going to do more of this. So stay tuned. We're going to hopefully bring in some other people to provide value to our clinics and our docs. Yeah, it was fun.
Yes, it was so great getting together, Jen. And thank you for everybody who's joining us today. Have a great week.